Here's the new Lectron carburetor and kit. So you get the carburetor, new throttle body housing, throttle cable, and you get this intake flange and gasket. So the reason for that is I have a 250 XC, and this is an XCW intake flange. A little bit shorter than the XC flange, and that's to fit the slightly larger carburetor. Also came with this little tuning tool here for the carburetor itself. So here's the Lectron carburetor installed. The most difficult part was actually fitting the carb into place due to the air boot on the 2017s. It's very stiff rubber, so you have to take the subframe apart, tilt it up. It takes a while, but anyways, the carb's on there now. I fired it up 2 kicks, started pretty easy. So tomorrow I'm going to go and test this thing out. I'm about to take the first test ride with the Lectron carburetor. Today I'm going to be riding at about 1,500 to maybe 3,500 feet. So this is just a first impression, see how the carb works. Just a few minutes in with the Lectron carb. The bike is warmed up now. So far, feels pretty nice. I'd say I get a little bit more pull through the bottom end. So I've just got the bike leaned over on the ground here while I'm setting up some camera shots. And one thing I noticed, big improvement over the stock carb. There's no gas flowing, not a drop of gas coming out the tubes. Whereas with the Mikuni carb, as soon as you lay it over, it would just pour out of there like crazy. So that's going to help the fuel economy for sure. So even though I put this Lectron on, I will say the stock Mikuni carb on these 2017 KTMs, they're not that bad. They got a bad rap everywhere. Mine was fine. No complaints really. When you get your bike from the factory, it's jetted way too rich. And if you're gonna run it stock, of course you're not gonna like it. It's gonna be too rich. The reason for getting this one is I want to be able to ride a place like this where I'm, 2,000, 3,000 feet one day, and the next day go 6,000, 7,000 feet and not have to change anything. That's the main appeal to the Lectron to me. But by all means, the stock carb's not a bad carb. I installed this carburetor yesterday and I just threw it on, no adjustments at all. After I started up, I played with the idle a little bit, but it went right back to where it was set already. So like they say, I think right out of the box, these things seem to be good to go. When I installed the carb, I also had the chance to check out the reeds, and I found absolutely nothing wrong with the stock reeds. You may have seen on the motorcycle forums or even here on YouTube stories of people with the reeds failing on these bikes, and I'm not saying that never happens, but I think it's a little blown out of proportion. I don't think it's that common. You might want to consider the source as well. A lot of the people who first started talking about these issues are the same people who are trying to sell you a product. Plenty of power up this long hill climb. Pulling second and third gear, no problem. So after today's ride, I'm just shy of 52 kilometers, And looking at the fuel, looks like I've got about half a tank left still, almost half a tank anyways. Most of our rides are between 40 and 60 kilometers, and at 60 usually I'm pretty close to needing reserve. And here I think there is a significant improvement in fuel economy. So that's it for today's ride. I'm gonna get a chance in a couple weeks to ride at elevation, probably 8,000 feet. I'll do a follow-up on how the Lectron performs at real elevations. Until then, thanks for watching PNW Enduro. See you next time.